The movie begins by showing a young boy playing near the seashore. While roaming around, the child notices a helmet lying near the water. Curious, he picks it up and sees that a camera is attached to it. When he plays the video recorded on the camera, he sees two young men surfing in the ocean. Suddenly, the camera starts shaking violently, and their terrified screams can be heard. Something unseen pulls them underwater and kills them. Horrified by what he sees, the child drops the helmet and runs away from the spot. In the next scene, we are introduced to a young woman named Laura, who is a medical student. She is sitting in a car and looking at photos on her phone when the driver, Carlos, asks her if the woman in the pictures is her. Laura replies that it is her mother, who had once visited the same beach. Laura explains that her trip is not just for leisure. She has come to relive her mother's memories. She is heading to the same beach her mother visited many years ago. She also shows Carlos a picture of her sister, and as they talk, they travel through a dense jungle toward the beach. After some time, they finally reach the shore. Laura is overwhelmed by the view and feels emotional because this is not just a beach, it is a place deeply connected to her mother's memories. Carlos unloads her luggage, and Laura thanks him before he leaves. Without wasting any time, Laura quickly changes her clothes, prepares her surfboard, and heads straight into the ocean to surf. As soon as she enters the water, she forgets all her worries. She paddles forward and soon notices two young men who are already surfing there. They strike up a conversation and ask her if she is American. Laura replies yes and asks if there is any danger in the area. The boys warn her about a large rock nearby that gets submerged once a day and mention that there are small sea creatures around that can sting. Although this makes Laura more cautious, her curiosity remains strong. Soon, a huge wave rises, and all three of them ride the waves together. The moment is breathtaking, and Laura enjoys every second of it. After a while, she returns closer to the shore and looks at her mother's picture on her phone, missing her deeply. Just then, she receives a call from her sister, Mona. Laura shows her the beach, and Mona recognizes it immediately, saying it is the same beach their mother used to talk about. Laura confirms this and says the beach is even more beautiful than their mother described. Mona tells her that she should not have come alone and that she should have brought her along. Shortly after, their father also joins the call, and Laura talks to him briefly before ending the conversation. Once again, Laura heads back into the ocean with her surfboard. By this time, it is almost evening, so the two boys say goodbye and leave the area. However, Laura is not ready to stop yet and decides to surf a little longer. After the boys leave, she moves to the other side of the shore to surf alone. On her way, she spots a group of dolphins, which fills her with joy and excitement. But as she moves further, she suddenly notices a dead whale floating in the water, with many birds sitting on it and feeding on small fish. This strange and unsettling sight makes Laura uneasy, and she decides to turn back. At that moment, a massive wave rises, and along with it, a huge shark slams into her surfboard. Due to the strong water current, Laura is thrown violently and crashes into the ocean floor. However, she somehow manages to regain control and struggles back to the surface, desperately trying to reach her surfboard. Before Laura can climb back onto her surfboard, the shark attacks again and severely injures her leg. Somehow, she manages to pull herself back up and now fully realizes that a shark is responsible for the attack. Knowing that another attack could happen at any moment, she quickly moves and climbs onto the dead whale floating nearby. Blood is pouring out of her leg, and the pain is unbearable. She opens the strap attached to her surfboard leash and tightly ties it around her wound to slow the bleeding. Looking toward the shore, she sees that the beach is about 200 to 300 feet away, and the two surfers are still there. Laura screams for help, but because of the crashing waves and the distance, her voice never reaches them. Soon, the two boys leave the beach, and Laura is left completely alone, standing on the dead whale. She is terrified, knowing the shark could return at any moment. As she scans her surroundings, she notices a large rock a short distance away. Just then, the shark comes back to attack again. But before it reaches her, Laura jumps into the water and swims toward the rock. The shark chases her, but she manages to climb onto the rock just in time and saves herself. Now standing on the rock, Laura looks around. The beach is visible and not too far, but reaching it would require swimming through open water, giving the shark another chance to attack. Realizing this, she decides that staying on the rock is the safest option for now. Her leg injury has caused severe blood loss, and without stitching the wound, she could die. Using whatever she has, Laura removes her earring and necklace and painfully stitches her wound herself. The pain is excruciating, but she endures it. After finishing, she removes part of her swimsuit and ties it tightly around the wound to stop the bleeding. Exhausted, she rests on the rock, hoping that someone will come to rescue her soon. But as night falls, hours pass, nearly 5 long hours, and no one comes. As the temperature drops in the darkness, Laura starts shivering. She puts her swimsuit back on, uses a piece of fabric as a bandage over her wound, and finally falls asleep on the rock. After some time, small crabs crawl over her and start biting her, waking her up. She kills one of them. Feeling extremely hungry, she tries to eat the crab but cannot stomach it and spits it out. She then notices her surfboard floating in the water, but she cannot reach it because the shark is still circling nearby. With no other option left, Laura slowly slips into the water, moving silently toward the board. Before she can reach it, the shark appears again and starts chasing her. She quickly swims back and climbs onto the rock, narrowly escaping once more. Later, she spots a man sleeping on the shore. Desperately, Laura starts screaming for help. The man is drunk and wakes up hearing her voice. Confused by the alcohol, he thinks someone is greeting him and waves back, saying hello. Laura gestures toward her bag, asking him to make a call. The man walks toward the bag, and Laura feels a wave of hope, thinking help has finally arrived. The man finds her phone, but instead of calling for help, he decides to steal it along with her money and starts walking away. Laura screams at him to stop, but he ignores her. Then the man notices Laura's surfboard floating near the shore and decides to take that as well. Desperately, Laura shouts, warning him not to go into the water because there is a shark, but the man is too drunk to hear anything. He swims toward the surfboard, reaches it, and starts heading back. Suddenly, the shark attacks him. Seeing this, Laura breaks down in tears. The man, torn in half, somehow crawls toward the shore with what remains of his body and dies right there on the beach. The next day, the same 2 boys return to the beach for surfing. At that time, Laura is asleep on the rock. The boys take their boards and enter the water. Laura wakes up and screams, warning them that there is a shark in the water and that they should go back. But they ignore her and move forward. Suddenly, the shark attacks one of the boys. Seeing this, the other boy panics and starts swimming toward Laura. But within moments, the shark drags him underwater as well, and his surfboard is thrown into the air, breaking into 2 pieces. Everything gets recorded on the camera attached to the boy's helmet, the same helmet we saw at the beginning of the movie. Time passes, and under the scorching sun, Laura begins to suffer badly. The rock she is standing on will be submerged in 25 minutes, and the shark is still circling around it. She realizes that if she does not leave the rock within those 25 minutes, her death is certain. She then notices the boy's helmet with the camera. She decides to retrieve it, but the shark is still circling the rock. Laura carefully plans her move and calculates the shark's rotation time, which is 32 seconds. This means she must grab the helmet and return to the rock within those 32 seconds, or she will be killed. Terrified, Laura enters the water and slowly manages to retrieve the helmet and return toward the rock. But suddenly, the shark attacks her again, knocking her into the water. She crashes hard below the surface. However, the lower part of the rock is quite large and covered with sharp corals, so the shark cannot reach that area. Using this opportunity, Laura quickly climbs back onto the rock with the helmet. Once safe, she starts watching the footage recorded on the camera. The video clearly shows the shark attacking the boys. At the end of the footage, Laura herself appears, trying to pull one of the boys onto the rock. After this, she looks around and notices a sea buoy transmitting a signal at some distance. The rock will be submerged in 10 minutes, so she must reach the buoy at any cost. But reaching it will take at least 1 full minute, and the shark can reach the rock in 22 seconds, which means swimming toward the buoy is almost certain death. Still, she has no choice, because the rock will soon disappear under the water. Laura turns on the camera and records a message. She says that she has been attacked by a shark, that the shark has already killed 3 people, and that her leg is badly injured. She explains that she is stranded on a rock that is about to sink, and that she does not think she has much time left. She pleads that if anyone finds this message, they should please help her. She also gives her home address and asks that even if she does not survive, the message be delivered to her family. Laura then records messages for her father and her sister, telling them how much she loves them and how deeply she misses them. After finishing the recording, she throws the helmet toward the shore. The water level rises higher on the rock, and at the same time, jellyfish begin to appear in the water. That is when Laura remembers that jellyfish can sting and injure sharks when they cling to them. Sharks usually avoid areas filled with jellyfish. Realizing this, Laura understands that she might be able to use this moment to her advantage. After this, Laura jumps into the water and swims downward, moving through a swarm of jellyfish toward the signal transmitter. There are jellyfish everywhere, just as the shark comes in to attack. It turns away because of the jellyfish. Laura then notices several sharp metal rods sticking out from a large underwater pillar. The signal transmitter is attached to this pillar with a heavy chain. She quickly resurfaces and starts swimming forward as fast as she can. The shark chases her, but Laura manages to reach the transmitter and climb on top of it just in time. The shark tries to attack her but cannot reach her. Laura hurriedly opens the transmitter's box, but it is badly rusted. After several attempts, she finally manages to open it. Inside, she finds a flare gun, but as soon as the box opens, all the flare bullets fall into the water. Without wasting time, Laura tightly holds the transmitter, dives, grabs the bullets, quickly reloads the flare gun, and fires it into the sky. Unfortunately, the boat is already too far away, and no one notices the flare. Disheartened and exhausted, Laura sits down, losing hope. The story then shifts to the child we saw playing on the beach at the beginning. The child watches Laura's recorded message on the camera and immediately runs to call his parents. Back at the transmitter, Laura sits sadly when the shark suddenly attacks again. Filled with anger and desperation, Laura shoots at the shark with the flare gun, but it has no effect. She then climbs higher onto the transmitter and fires again. This time, the shot ignites the water because gases released from the decaying whale have spread through the area. The fire forces the shark to dive underwater, but moments later, it resurfaces and attacks the transmitter directly. Due to the impact, the transmitter flips over and Laura is thrown into the water. She gets badly injured, but somehow manages to control herself and hide safely between the metal rods of the pillar. The shark attacks again and breaks the rods apart. Laura realizes that the shark will keep attacking her repeatedly. At that moment, she notices the heavy chain attached to the pillar below. Before the shark can strike again, Laura moves to the other side and releases the chain. Because of its weight, the chain begins pulling downward, and Laura holds on to it as she is dragged rapidly toward the pillar. The shark follows her, but just as it reaches her, Laura moves aside near the sharp rods and dies instantly. Due to being so deep underwater, Laura loses consciousness. Meanwhile, the child arrives at the beach with his father, who turns out to be Carlos, the same man who had driven Laura to the beach earlier. The child points toward the water where Laura is. Carlos immediately runs into the sea, pulls Laura out, and brings her safely to the shore. When Laura opens her eyes, she sees Carlos standing in front of her. She looks back at the ocean one last time, the place where she fought the biggest battle of her life and survived. Due to the impact, the scene then shifts to 1 year later. Laura returns to the same beach, but this time she is not alone. She comes with her father and her sister. Her father feels proud of her because Laura never gave up. The story ends with a powerful message. No matter how difficult the situation is, if we do not give up, we can overcome anything.